This is Sway.
Sway.
In the morning. Shake it, bro.
Wake your fuck ass up. That crust out your eyes.
The profound, prophetic, one and only Jeff Foxworthy is here. The best-selling comedy artist of all time, Heather B. Which to black folks is like, what?
Exactly.
To a lot of folks is like,
what?
Yeah.
You outsold Eddie Murphy.
That's
I know it.
huge.
And, Cosby and Carlin
and Pryor.
Pryor. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. Damn.
Yeah.
Shit.
Because when they told me that, I was like, what? No, man.
You was the same way?
Yeah.
Jeff Foxworthy is here, man. Hey, what do people recognize you? Can you walk the streets now?
I take a lot of pictures. You know, the old days it was autograph. Nobody wants an autograph. Everybody wants a picture now. And which, I mean, I don't mind. I was on the road for 10 years and nobody wanted anything. So
Take it, Jeff.
That's good. That's interesting. Kevin Hart said the same thing. Like he was been working for 15 years and now people starting to take notice.
But the funny thing is like, because I would much rather you, if you're out there, just come up to me and go, hey man, can we get a picture? And I do it and you know, be happy with it.
Yeah.
But the people like in the airport try to act like they're checking their emails and they're like subversively turning their, and I just look right at them and go, you're awful at that. Give him the phone, take the picture, you're terrible.
And let's just do it, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, congratulations on all your success, man. I find your comedy, especially see, I never really knew what a redneck is. You know what I mean? And I know people ask you this stuff all the time, I'm sure.
Well, it kind of started, I never knew what it was. I just got called it a lot because I grew up in Georgia. I always wore jeans and boots, had a truck, and I would come up like to New York to work. And they would be like, Jeff, I don't want to hurt your freaking feelings, right? But you got to take some voice lessons, lose that stupid accent you got, right? I'm like, well, where I come from, you have the stupid accent. But they were always, I mean, it was good natured, but it's like, Foxworthy, nothing but an old redneck from Georgia. And I started traveling the country, and I'm like, well, crap, if that's what I am, there's a lot more. I was playing in Detroit. This is where the whole thing started. And was sitting there one night after a show, and they're kidding me about being a redneck. Well, the club we were playing in was attached to a bowling alley that had valet parking. And I'm like, look, if y'all don't think you have rednecks, look out the window. People are valet parking at the bowling alley.
Wow.
And so, I mean, I never thought about it being a hook or a book. I just started writing ways to tell, and 10 turned into 100, and, ended up having a few hundred of them. And I got turned down by 14 publishers before somebody picked it up. And the guy called me in, and he said, I think we could do a book. He said, how's $1,500 sound? And I was scared to answer because I didn't know if he was asking me for $1,500 because I didn't have it. I'm like, hell, I ain't got $1,500. And he said, no, we'll give it to you. And I said, how many books you think we'll sell? And he said, I bet we sell 5,000 of them. And I think that book sold like 4 million copies or something.
Damn, Jeff Foxworthy.
But let me tell you the funniest thing about it. So I did like a bunch of books like that, and then one day Chris Spencer and like Marlon Wayans and all them, they called me up and they said, hey, we want to do You Might Be Ghetto If, do you care? And I said, no, man, I don't care. I said, but when you're writing them, I'd love to write them just because they're fun writing. They're just one-liners. We got to laughing so hard because you would think that they would be totally different. There were so many things that were, like if your working television sits on top of your non-working television, and I'm like, that's redneck. And they're like, no, that's ghetto, or if your mom is, mom has never had her entire foot in a pair of shoes, I'm like, no, that's redneck. They're like, no, that's ghetto. So there were a lot of them that were totally the same, man. Yeah.
So to be redneck is to be ghetto.
Yeah, it's kind of a lot of the same thing. Because my definition of redneck was, it was a glorious absence of sophistication. And it really didn't matter how, because I used to say, people think if you gave rednecks $1 billion, they wouldn't be rednecks anymore. Yeah, they would. They'd just be rednecks with a lot of money,
Good point.
Because Elvis had $1 billion and he was putting carpet on the ceiling and shooting at the TVs. I mean, come on,
That's redneck.
Yeah.
That's definitely, but that's ghetto too.
Yeah, it's ghetto too. If you go in the ghetto and give somebody $1 billion,
They still ghetto.
Yeah,
they still going to be shooting.
Yeah, exactly.
I guarantee you that. All right, Jeff Foxworthy is here. You want to talk with him? 888-742-3345. All right, man. That's Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? And that's returning next Tuesday, 8 p.m. on Fox, hosted by the one and only Jeff Jeff-Foxworthy. Mm-hmm. I guess that's how he got on Fox.
That's how that worked, right?
Yeah, he's worthy of it. This game, this game is kind of like an eye opener for a lot of us who, some folks got degrees, went away to college. What's your degree in, Tracy?
Communications,
and we lived our lives, and I do news for MTV. I reported everything. I've sat down with the president. Jeff,
you let them know. 2
of them. And so at that point, you kind of walk around with a false sense of security of intelligence until you watch this damn show.
Well, yeah, when Mark Burnett first called me 10 years ago, and he said, "Would you host a game show?" And I'm like, "Nah, man, that's cheesy. I don't want to host a game show." I said, "What's it about?" He said, "Adults taking an elementary school test for a shot at $1 million." And I said, "That's brilliant." Because everybody's going to think they can do it.
Yep.
And you, I mean, it don't matter. Doctors, lawyers, it don't matter. You get in there and you find out your brain keeps the lyrics to a song for 30 years. You remember every little, and it's like, it goes through and it's like triangles. No, we don't need that. Get rid of that. Grammar, get rid of that. And so, yeah, you think you can do it and you can't. And that's what makes it fun.
I had to stop watching it for that reason.
you don't feel good about yourself.
No, I have to, because I stayed in denial the whole time. And now what is y'all viewership up to?
It's crazy. Because it's one of those weird shows. You have 3 generations. Because the kids like it because it's kind of showing kids being cool. The parents of the kids that are doing that homework every night like it,
right?
Because that's the stuff they're going. And the grandparents love it. So it's something the whole got 3 generations that can watch the show.
Do you ever have like actual 5th grade teachers compete?
They probably do better than anybody else. Yeah. The first person that we gave $1 million to was a 5th grade teacher.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So see, that's like cheating. Though.
Exactly.
That's not.
But here's the crazy thing. Like when I started hosting the show, people thought I was smarter because I'm like, no, they give me the cards. If I didn't have the cards, the show would last 10. We had a lady. She had like a 2nd grade grammar question, and it was something about an antonym, and she said, "Oh, I remember there were homonyms and synonyms and antonyms." Yeah. She said, "I can't remember the difference in them. Can you use it in a sentence?" And I'm like, my antonym came over for Christmas dinner. I'm like,
hilarious.
I have no idea what this is.
Yo, my
antonym, yeah.
That's Ghetto.
All right. Well, listen.
No, that's redneck.
That's redneck. All right. Well, it's coming back Tuesday on Fox. Make sure you watch it. We got some callers on the line real quick. We got Kurt from the same place you're from. He's in Atlanta. You're both from Georgia. What up, Kurt? How you doing?
Hey, doing really well. Big fan of the show.
Thank you, man. You're a citizen.
Sway in the morning.
So I'm just curious to know what is going on with your career now, Jeff. I know that you used to do a lot of stand-up. Are you still doing any stand-up or any tours lined up?
Yeah, man. I was just at the Fox Theater in Atlanta a couple of weeks ago. I'm getting ready to do a tour with me and Larry the Cable Guy are going out. And, it's weird. Here's the weird thing about comedy, because I tell my friends that are musicians, I said, if you're a musician, you write 5 hits. You play to your 90.
Yeah.
Because it don't matter what the new stuff is. People want to hear those 5 songs. If you're a comedian, you do a new album or you do a HBO special, or people are like, oh, that was good. What you got new?
Yeah.
So anytime you put something out, you got to be reloading all the time. And so I did like 9 albums, 3 blue-collar movies, 25 Tonight shows, 2 HBO specials, 2 Showtime. So it's like I look back.
VO work, too. You've done a lot of VO work.
Yeah. So you just keep going through. But I've sat down in the last 6 months, I've written about a new hour and a half of material. And so, yeah, man, but thanks for asking. I've been lucky to do a lot of different things, and I like doing them. But if you put a gun to my head and said you can't do but one thing, it would always be stand-up.
Stand-up. All right. Yeah. Hey, thanks for your call. Kurt Davis in Tennessee. Good morning, Dave.
Hey, what's going on, Sway and everybody? How we doing?
Going all right, man.
Hey, Jeff, pretty big fan. I remember you might be considered redneck from the 90s and whatnot. My quick question was, the show Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader? Could you say that the importance of that show is to show how much information they teach us in elementary school that we don't really need as adults?
Well, that's kind of the end result of it is you find, and we were talking during the break, what your brain keeps and what your brain gets rid of. But the cool thing is, like, when the show first came on, I would get so many letters from teachers going, "You made it cool to be smart again." And to me, we do so many things good in this country. We're terrible at educating people because it don't matter if you're redneck or if you're ghetto or whatever. Education is the way to get out of, to change your situation.
Right.
And we do so many things good. We do a terrible job at educating our kids.
I have a theory about that, a
conspiracy
theory. I think it's done on purpose because we have so many civil liberties here. If you make the people smarter, then we'll be able to expose how much stuff is dysfunctional.
Absolutely.
So I think you're exactly right. I think they want us to get intelligent enough to be able to do a simple job, but don't get smarter than that.
Then you get to overthrow the government or something.
Yeah.
Too many liberties, so you got to keep us dumb.
I think you're right.
You travel the world, I've debated with kids like half my age, and they were able to debate in 4 different languages.
I just did a benefit for KIPP in Atlanta. You know what KIPP is?
Break that down.
It's KIPP. You got to look this up. But it's people that go into these under-resourced parts of the country, and they create these schools for these kids that come from really bad schools. And you're looking at kids that people would normally write off, and they're like biochemical engineers.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it don't matter where you come from. You can be educated out of that.
Yeah.
We just don't do that in this country.
We don't do that. You know what? I want to, in the theme of education, since we got Jeff Foxworthy here, we came up with a game that might be considered educational. DB actually wrote this one, Jeff, and it's called
You Might Be a Rapper. Let's see how much you know about hip-hop here.
This is going to be bad.
It's true or false, so it should be fairly easy for you.
You're going to help me, right?
I got you.
Heather, you got him?
I'm Ghetto.
All right, cool.
All right. First question. You might be a rapper if you were on the top 20 best-selling artists of all time. True or false?
Yes.
You're correct. Eminem is 15th. He's the highest.
Eminem's the highest?
Yes, he is.
Wow.
Highest selling rapper of all time.
Highest selling rapper of all time.
That's the station too, Jeff. All right.
You might be a rapper if your net worth is $1 billion.
Yeah, I would say yeah.
True or false?
False. Diddy is the richest at $735 million.
Oh, I thought Diddy would have $1 billion.
Yeah, just like that.
That's climbing.
The world has changed.
He only got $750 billion. Man's got to eat. Come on, folks, buy his stuff.
All right.
That's not.
You might be a rapper if you won an Oscar, a Golden Globe, and a Grammy Award.
True or false?
Yeah.
Correct. Common.
Yeah, okay.
I'm married to him.
Yeah,
You're married to him, Heather?
Yeah.
Hubster.
Shit, Jeff said,
Ghetto style.
in a ghetto marriage.
Ain't no paperwork.
Don't need none.
He just dropped by every now and
Don't
then.
need none.
You already know, boo.
All right. You might be a rapper if you were on MTV's The Real World.
Why are you looking at me, Jeff?
Yeah.
Correct. You're sitting next to her.
Yeah.
She was on the first season of Real World, man.
See the connection now?
I do see. You in common. I got the whole thing down. Yeah.
Last question. You might be a rapper if you sat down with the president at the White House.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're sitting next to that one, too.
I'm the only one. I'm the only rapper who ever sat down with two presidents.
Give me an example. Of
Who was the other one? W? Clinton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't get a chance to sit with W.
I sat down with presidents, but I don't rap. So.
You don't rap?
Mm-mm.
Dude, we could throw a beat on right now and make you a rapper. Add that to your resume.
No, debut.
Come on, you said redneck seem like ghetto.
Jeff, go ahead. Say a quick redneck rap.
No, you started and I'll jump in.
Okay, all right. Okay, check it. Yeah, Sway in the morning. I'm rapping with Jeff.
Woo!
I'm going to spit it till my very last breath.
Woo!
I don't know what it is to be red. I don't know what it is to have a neck. Jeff.
Who are you saying about? You ain't that fat, Sway.
When you red, you get out of bed, you scruff up your head.
Yeah.
Get in your truck, say good luck, try to make a buck.
Uh-huh.
Heather.
Yes. I'm going to keep flowing for Jeff Foxworthy. Tracy G, she likes to get dirty. She talks sex. Jeff talk redneck. And Sway, who we got up next?
All right, that's it. All right,
You put in a chew, you go get a brew, you look for your crew. Nope, to you, Sway.
Okay. And that's how we're going to end the day. All right. Yeah.
I wanted to ask
You're a rapper now.
I'm a rapper, yeah.
Jeff, when Sway was checking off all of your accomplishments, and then he had also mentioned Kevin Hart, and in the high time of Kevin Hart right now, there's been so many of his peers that have kind of just been trying to chip away at his success, and I'm wondering if that's ever happened.
Well, show business is a competitive business. So, when you start having success, you have friends that are like, oh, man, he's so lucky, or he didn't. Yeah, but, your real friends don't act like that. Your real friends know, because it's, and you know this, it's a business. Everybody loves the show part of it.
Right.
But most of the people you look at that are successful, they work at the business of it, and so when people look at me, it's like doing stand-up, and they're like, man, you work an hour and a half a night. And it's like, no, you didn't see me when I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning doing 15 phone interviews trying to sell tickets, and when I'm sitting there at midnight trying to write. And so that's the part that you see is an hour and a half, but the rest of it, you got to work at it. So, man, I don't begrudge Kevin or anybody, because I know how hard he's worked to get there.
Word.
Yeah. Jeff Foxworthy, ladies and
It's
gentlemen.
not a hater.
All right. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? Next Tuesday, make sure you watch at 8 p.m. on Fox. Jeff, thanks for coming through, man.
Thanks for having me. This is cool.
All right,
bro.
man.
Thank you, man.
Keep it ghetto.
I will.
I'll keep it redneck. All right.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shade 45.